Good afternoon, guys, and happy Friday. Welcome to the Autopsy of Her, Healing, Evolving, Resiliency. I am Iris Denise Owens, your host, and on the line with me is my beautiful co-host and sister. Good afternoon, honey bunny. How are you
Good
today?
afternoon, Honey Bunny. Stephanie Deani Green.
How
I'm
are
doing
you?
great. I'm doing better now after we talked.
Awesome, awesome. So when she said we talk, see, like we always tell you, we always have a talk. So today we had a powwow session. So we are all grooved, we're all in line now, we are ready to go. So we hope that you guys are having a wonderful day. um in the vein of, as we're saying, we were talking about love, since February is the month of love, and every month, every day is a day of love, but February is the month of love. Of course it is, because I'm born in this month, so I am love.
Yes, you are. Well, of
So,
course, it's the shortest month of the year. They designated to love and Black history.
and
You know,
Black history,
so quickly.
absolutely. Learned the interesting fact though about, as you just said, about Black history being in the shortest month of the year, and people have had these, there's been misinformation that why was the shortest month of the year chosen by someone else, and that is not the case. The gentleman who actually created Black History Month is the gentleman who chose the month of February.
Okay. And who
So
created it?
just a little Black history moment for you today.
Who created it?
Oh God, I knew you were gonna ask me that. I knew you were gonna ask me that. I have to remember his name. I'm gonna find it, because that's right. If I'm gonna share information, I need to
It's
share
like,
it
who
all
created
the
it?
way. I need to share the whole thing.
How
Um,
long when was it started? What year?
I'm gonna tell you,
Okay.
because it was not always called Black History Month. It was
It was. Well, was it? But every time I could
okay.
remember it called
So
Black
his
History.
name was Carter G. Woodson. I did not want to get it incorrect. It was originally called Negro History Week initially. And
Okay.
then in 1976 is when it was designated that every president, well, that was the month of February when it was President's Month. And then that's when it became Black History Month.
Mm.
But Carter G. Woodson is the founder of Black History Month, but originally, like I said, it was called Black History Week. And it was started originally on February 7th, 1926.
Wow. And he's a Black man, I'm presuming.
Yes, he is. Yep,
Nice. Okay,
yep.
nice. And then so it started in 1926 initially with Black Negro Month or Negro Month.
Well, it was started as the first celebration of Negro History Week. So it was only a week that would be celebrated. And then it was extended when in 1976, when it became that, because that's when President Ford recognized it as Black History Month in 1976.
Also President Ford. Okay, nice.
Mhm.
See, nice history.
Yeah, so Black History Month. So remember that Carter G. Woodson is the person who chose the month of February, because that is when it initiated. So there's your Black History moment.
From the autopsy of her.
Yeah. So we were talking, as I said, we were talking about, love. And so today we're going to talk about what's your crazy. Now you
Right,
probably,
so crazy, crazy.
right, there you go. I said, what's your crazy? And Steph says, or is it crazy, crazy? So what we're going to talk about today is that crazy love, when you're like, I love him, I hate him, I hate her, I love her, that sort of thing. Or when you're like, you have one foot in, or you got 5 toes down and the other 5 toes are up, and or better yet, like Steph and I always talk about, those moments where you want to pack your tent. When you say I'm in love, but at the first sign of a smoke signal, you're like, ooh.
You like this?
I'm leaving. I'm taking my ball and I'm going home. I don't care. Yeah. I don't want, you remember as kids, I don't want to play with you anymore. That's what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah,
And
I
so,
slammed the door. Get out of my house. I was good for that. Get out of my house.
right, get out of my house. Right. Listen, wait, y'all remember this? I don't like you anymore. I don't play with you. Believe it or not, we still operate that way as adults. We just now have better words and bigger words to use with it, right? And then we have all these descriptions and behavior.
It's still like,
yes, yes. That the whole pouting, the whole, as I call the brown turtleneck when you got your lips poked out. Brown turtleneck. That's what we call that. So we're going to talk about that. And this is all, I want you all to understand, this is stemming from a conversation and a situation that my daughter had. My daughter, who is 19, went on her first Valentine's date this week. Mm-hmm. And she was so excited. She met this young man on campus, and he held her door open and then kind of came behind her, tapped on the shoulder, and she was ready to punch him in the throat. But she didn't. That's the New Yorker in her, for her mother. And so he introduced himself and said, "Hey, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. Just wanted to get to know you." And they exchanged phone numbers. So they started texting with one another, and then they began to have phone conversation. And this young man, and so this happened not last week, but week before last. All right. So that would have been like last, I think the week before Valentine's Day, basically.
And Valentine's Day was just on Tuesday.
Exactly. So it happened the week before that. So they were literally talking, having conversation, which I was like, whoa, that's an awesome, awesome thing. Because in this society in which we live in today, people do not talk. They text everything.
That's all they know how to do, work the thumbs.
Absolutely. And so basically, the gentleman for the young man said, "Hey, would it be okay if I give you flowers? No, would you like to be my Valentine? And would it be okay if I bring you flowers on Valentine's Day?" So of course, Mama Bear is over here going like, where he bringing these flowers to? And my daughter's like, no. I already know we're going to meet in the common area, in the common center. Not, I'm not bringing him to or allowing him to come to my space or anything like that. And I was like, okay, bet. So anyway, the flowers then turned into more of a date, right? So my daughter was in an accident a couple of weeks ago, so my daughter cannot drive. Now, my daughter always drives herself everywhere, anywhere, especially if she's going on a date, because I prefer that you take yourself, bring yourself back when you are meeting people you do not know anything about. So nonetheless, they went on a date. So the young man, he opened her door. He brought her the flowers. Now, my daughter was annoyed because my daughter is very prompt. So he was late initially. And he did not call. And my daughter was like, okay, so if he ghosts me, there's going to be a problem, right? But he did show up, and he said that he got his car not just washed, but detailed because his car was dirty. So I thought, okay, well, that was a good reason to be delayed, but you still should have called, right? Exactly. So he finally did answer. He told her he was on his way. Okay, so he opened the door. He gave her the flowers. My daughter wanted crumble cookies. That's this new bakery thing, cookie phrase going on around in Atlanta. I don't know I'm sure it's in other places. So he drove her to get cookies. So my daughter was going to get a cookie for her roommate. So he said he didn't want cookies, but he said to my daughter, instead of just getting those cookies, which my daughter was prepared to pay for, he says, why don't you just get a box? So guys, these cookies are like huge. They are $7 a piece. So a box is 4 cookies, just so you understand, right? Because that's all just gonna fit in the box. I just want y'all to understand that, right? So this is all for reference. So he says, why don't you get a box? My daughter gets the box. He pays for the box, right? They get back. My daughter says, hey, have you eaten? He says, yes, I've already eaten. He says, are you hungry? Yes, I'm hungry. He says, what would you like? I would like to go to Panera. do you want to go in and sit down? My daughter says, no, not necessary. We could just go get it and we could, just continue driving around, hanging out. He says, okay. My daughter goes to the app, orders her food, and she has her card to pay for her food as she is accustomed to doing. Okay. He takes her card and he pays for it. Right. Okay. So I said to my daughter, and I did not want to discourage my daughter after I heard about her date, but there were some red flags going up for me. Right. So after talking to my daughter, I said to my daughter after the date, I said, so how was your date? And she says it was great. And so she told me all about it. I was, I'm asking what's his background, what's his family like. Blah, blah, blah. So then I asked my daughter, what's his crazy? She says, huh? I said, what's his crazy? She said, well, I don't know yet. But my daughter, being who she is, listened. Today, my daughter calls and says, Mom, I found his crazy. He showed his crazy. Now, I know you all are saying, what does that have to do with the month of love, right? What it has to do with is that sometimes when we engage in, or we interact, or we meet people, we will ignore someone else's crazy because we all have a crazy. Mm-hmm. So if you're trying to figure out what that means, your crazy is the thing that will either cause you self-destruction, cause other people angst when they're encountering you, or cause both of you angst. But it's that thing that you're like, I just can't let somebody do that to me. I just can't let anybody get away with that thing. And that's normally some sort of love trauma that has happened in your life, right? In a relationship, or someone that you've been with or thought you were with and found out that you really weren't together. It's trauma. So long story short, this young man's issue was that he did not understand why men have to bow down to women, and that why do women think that they're all that, and why do women think that men are supposed to pay for things, and on and on and on and on and on and on. And my daughter's response was, so did you not want to take me out? Because remember what I said, he went after her. He invited her out. And it was only supposed to be for going to get cookies. Well, first it started out as only flowers. But I'm saying, guys, with all that going on, at the age that we are now, I'm hearing this from grown women saying that you go out with someone and they're like, yeah, never mind going, let's not date. Let's just hook up. Let's just get together, right? So there's no commitment of any sort, even a commitment to say, let's get to know each other before we go any further. And so for my daughter, what her experience is and what she's saying, she's like, I've known you for 2 weeks, because the young man basically asked my daughter, so are you talking to other guys? And my daughter said at this moment, no. So she said, but we're not in a dating situation. And so if I was talking to other people, that is my right to do so. This young man told my daughter that he felt disrespected. So, Steph, what's the reaction to that?
My reaction, well, did he ask her to be his girlfriend?
He did.
Oh, he did, and she didn't say yes.
No, and because her thing was, she said, if it was in fact, now granted, they've only known each other 2 weeks. So that's my daughter's thing, is like, first red flag. It's only been 2 weeks and already you're trying to lock me into this space. But here you are saying that you don't think that men should have to pay for this, and men should have to do this, and men should have to do that. And my daughter,
that came afterwards. That came after he asked her to be. So yes. What I'm trying to say is that, I mean, sometimes, like when my second real marriage, I mean, when I went out on a date with that husband, That like I had already. But you know, our first date, we were a couple. So it can be that way, you know, and we were a couple for 24 years. I mean, it can be that way, but you know, it's how you feel about that. Now, if he asked her to be his girlfriend and she said no, then why would you be disrespected if you know when if you ask her if she's talking to somebody else or other guys and she says not at the moment,
Right.
you know? So that's not, you know, I mean, that's not being just, you know, he felt that way. I can't tell him how to feel,
Right.
but he felt that way. But that show, if he was looking for a girlfriend, then he needed to be intentional, I think from day one to me. You
Right.
know, like when if you're looking to if you're looking for a relationship, you need to say that
Right.
up front. So
Right.
that meant like, okay, now I feel that we're having a relationship because I took you out for Valentine's Day. I bought you flowers. I bought you a box of cookies. I bought you your Panera. That to him means a relationship. It doesn't mean a relationship. You have to communicate whether, and a relationship means two people want to be in a relationship, you
Right.
know, not just one person. So that needed to be from the door.
Right.
Now,
And
if
what
he
is
felt,
and why would you feel entitled? Because that's the old adage of, so as a woman, and I go out on a date with a man and a man buys me an expensive dinner, or you bought me anything, you could have
yeah,
bought me an ice cream, or you bought me a drink, because you remember when we would go out to clubs and stuff, a guy would buy you a drink and then he's like,
mhm,
so don't I get a kiss? What am I getting for this? Because you bought
mhm,
a drink? I'm
exactly.
sorry.
It's
Those
that
two things
that's
don't equate, my friend.
no, not at all. Not
And
at
it
all.
seems like with this crazy love thing now is like, I expect so much back from, and I'm not going to just blame it on men. I'm saying people in
Women too.
general, right? You expect so much back from a person when you have given nothing in comparison to, because you buy a drink.
Yeah,
A drink is a thing that has a price tag. I am a
exactly.
human, breathing, living. I do not have a price tag.
Nope. It's
So because you buy
unbelievable.
anything, that's on you, because you had clear opportunity to say, one, you did not want, you said you wanted to give me flowers. And my daughter said that. She says, oh, if he had just come and brought the flowers, I was happy to take the flowers and be thankful and keep it moving. But
Exactly.
you brought flowers and then you said, well, do you want to go get the crumple cookies or da 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 da? And
Mhm.
I'm just saying, like, that was her experience. And thank God that she has enough, fortitude and mindset that she was like, oh no, thank you, but no, thank you.
No. Oh
Already.
hell.
Because we were having a conversation and she's like, I almost wish I could give him back this teddy bear and this
Mhm.
stuff. She said, but she said that would probably just add fuel to the fire. But
Exactly.
her point was, and as she said, and she said she also told the young man, she says, I have gained all of my expectations from a man from my father. And he goes, oh, your father taught you that? As like,
That's what they teach you if you got a father in the house. Because only a man can teach you about a man.
absolutely.
Let's be clear. Okay.
Absolutely. And she said this young man was quite annoyed when she mentioned her father, right? And so for me, there are a whole bunch of red flags going on, but this is a 19-year-old and a 21-year-old. But here's the thing. This is what 30-year-olds go through, 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds, are these unspoken expectations
And
of when
that's why I want to
we're trying
start
to get to know people.
the key word, unspoken. I think that you have to date with intention, but
Yes.
you have to let the same people got to be on the same page. You can't
Yes.
be in your mind, you're dating with intention. In their mind, you're just a date for Wednesday night or Saturday night or whatever night it is. So yeah, because some people aren't interested in dating, like seriously. They want to date several people. They're not just interested in dating one
Right.
person. So that has to be established from the door. Now, if somebody says, you said like, would you be my Valentine? And I would like to get to know you better. That maybe we could become a couple. That's why I'm asking you out basically to be my Valentine. Now, if he would have presented it like that, and she's like, well, I'm not looking for that right now, then we're on the same page. That's just like the same thing. You know how I feel about, people putting their bodies out there. But I know that women do. Like, now this man hasn't given you any indication that he wants to be a couple with you or be in a relationship with you, but you give your body to him. And then all of a sudden, you guys are a couple in your mind. He never said that he wanted to be a couple with you,
Right.
but he was like, I'll take your cookies all day long because I like cookies. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And so, and if you're going to give him like that, you have to establish, and let's be clear, a lot of things are said and people just lie. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about things that are not said to begin with.
Right.
We haven't crossed like the lying part of it,
Right.
yet.
And here's the funny thing. My daughter said that when he was going on his rant about this, men out here just giving men giving women money, right, for nails and hair and all this sort of thing. So my daughter said, and I'm going to put it in a nice way because those are not the words that she used. She says, but you would meet a woman who you've only known for 2 weeks and have sex with her, right? So he goes, yeah, I guess. She said, oh, but you don't see anything wrong with that, right? So I'm very proud of my daughter. God, I'm proud of my daughter, right? Because again, knowing what you want and what you don't want, what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do, right? Exactly. And so even at 19, with the examples that we have set for her in her life, expectations that her father has set, expectations that I have set, but more importantly, expectations that she has set for herself. Exactly. Is a lesson learned for all of us, because I think no matter where you are in life, you always have to remember your worth in terms of what's important to you may not necessarily be important to another person. And exactly. never lower your standard in order to please someone else, because most times when we do that, we're going to be the one who suffers and walks away feeling hurt, bruised, and battered. And the other person goes on to maybe do the same thing to someone else, or has no consideration for the fact that they have done anything wrong at all to you, right?
Mm-hmm. Which is true. But I think that at the same time, I think the other side of that is that when some people have just connected, they met and they just connected.
Yes.
And it was no doubt like, I want to be with you, you want to be with me, and we're together.
Right.
And that's like, it may not be a life connection, but maybe that love connection for a year, 2 years, a month, whatever.
Right.
Obviously, just reality is this wasn't what you call a love connection initially. Okay. No. Because then if it was, it would have been a whole different type of outcome, but you have like, I always like reference Sex and the City, but it was this one episode, Sex and the City, where the lead character, Carrie, she definitely wanted to get married. She wanted to settle down, and she started dating this guy, but she had a guy that she loved. They just was, they break up, get back together, and they was broken up at this point. So she meets this guy. He has everything. He has the best apartment in New York. He has a great job, whatever. But like they're dating for like 2 weeks. He has the China patterns picked out. He has like, this is gonna be the rule when we have a baby.
Right.
And she was like, this is like, and then he's like, what's wrong with you women? Y'all say y'all want to get married. You say you want a good husband. You say you want a good man. And you say you want security. And I have all of that. And I can't find someone. And she's like, well, I think you're going about a little wrong.
Right.
And then she has a girlfriend, Charlotte's character, who's like, her thing is like, I want to get married and have a family. And she said, you know what? I think I have somebody to introduce you to. So she's just a girl to him, and that doesn't work out because he's just so. Yeah. It's like, I have all these things. I just need somebody to put here. Right. And that's not how. But
then you're looking at a person as a thing. You want a thing to go into fit into your story. Exactly. And
it's like a puzzle, and the woman is the missing
piece. Right.
Like, that's not how you build a relationship.
Absolutely
That's how
not.
that works. But that's what people even doing now. Like if I can get this person, a man, he has to be, 6 feet tall, and I prefer his Johnson to be X amount of inches, and and all this kind of stuff. And then I can have 6 feet tall sons, and they have all these, and just any man will do. It doesn't, I mean, oh, of course he has to make 6 figures or 7 figures, all this kind of stuff. That's not a love connection. That does not.
That is a thing material request.
But and I mean, I've seen people in these type of relationships. They've gone the distance, but at what cost of everything that you gave up for it? You
Absolutely.
know what I'm saying? Excuse me.
Absolutely.
But you give up everything for that, because it's not authentic, really. It's just for the image of everything, the image of it all. And
Right.
it's not about image,
Right.
because when no one is watching you and you're there home alone or in that house with that person, and when everything was created for image, you are the most loneliest person you could be. It's loneliness.
Except for
That's
the
why you're
skeletons that come out the closet and chase
yeah,
you
takes you all
all
around the
around the
room.
room.
You made the
There
like
you go.
this person want to look at you when you're at home together.
Yes. You don't have conversation. You don't say good morning. You don't say good night. You don't say how you doing. And guess what? Neither one of you care, or one of you care and the other one doesn't. This is why I'm saying I'm proud of my daughter, because for her, she took the time out to have conversation with this young man to say, so let me understand, is this what you're saying? And she says, I'm really concerned as to why you feel that way. She said, because that's why she asked, so you didn't want to take me out on a date? And she said, at no point in time did I ever force you or expected you to pay for anything. I didn't ask you for anything. You wanted to. She says, but also, it seems to me like you either had a conversation with someone who, made you feel some kind of way, or you thought this was something different. But the whole point of a young man, a 21-year-old, to meet a 19-year-old, and you have only known each other 2 weeks, and then to turn around and say, well, are you dating someone else? Are you seeing anyone else? And this person was honest enough to tell you and said, no, I'm not at the moment. But again, you are not an item, right? And I think the level of expectation to even think that because you said to this person, will you be my Valentine, which was cute. It was nice. It was just, chivalry, right? It was beautiful. But your level of expectations, and my daughter, God bless her heart, right? She based men based by her father. And she's like, what did you think you were doing, though? She's like, my father takes women out take a woman out. Now, I mean, previously, now dad's engaged, right? So dad has a fiance, but no matter who dad's taking out, fiance, girlfriend, daughters, dad pays. And he doesn't make a qualm about it. And that's not a bragging thing. I'm just saying, as the man that he is, that is what he does, right? Mm-hmm. And so for a young man to then say, and my daughter said, if you had at least had a conversation with me, like she said, because I didn't ask you to spend your money like that. And I attempted to pay for my own stuff, because if the money was the issue, I would have bought my own stuff like I am accustomed to doing, because we have taught our daughter, you never go anywhere without money in your pocket. If you're going to order something, make sure you got money to pay for it. In case something goes wrong, you have money to pay for it, and you have driven your own car so you can leave when you get ready, So I just thought that was interesting. But this is everyday life for some of us sometimes. With people are saying they're looking for love. They want to be in relationship. They want to be bothered. They want to be together. But then you come and you dump all of this you're crazy onto another person and expect that they're just supposed to accept it and be okay with it. And I'm just
I think that's crazy, because I think too, he should have asked her. To me, I think the question should have been initially, was she seeing anybody, before he asked her to be his Valentine?
Right. Right.
That would have been the time to ask a question
Right.
if you were really looking for something like that.
Right. And she said she liked him because they again talking on the phone. And she said he was very attentive. She said he remembered things that he told her, which again, part mommy, Mama Bear was over here going, red flag, red flag. But I didn't want to crush her, because just in case, like he could have just been a really genuine young man. But I was saying in my head, red flag, but not enough. It wasn't the red flag like made my stomach
Like
turn,
red flag,
like, But it's a little disappointing because again, I'm not just hearing this from, I'm not just hearing from my daughter.
Too good to be true. Too good to be true.
That is what I said. That is absolutely what I said. She said,
and it's sad that we have gotten to that point that it can't be like it's sad.
It can't be true. She said he opened her door. He drove her around, and my daughter loves that because her father is a driver. Her father he doesn't let anybody drive him anywhere. So when you go somewhere with him, you're going to be in the passenger seat, right? And she loves that, right? And so just the fact of, I think when you have some standards in your life for what you're looking for and who's looking for you, right? It's important to not ignore those signs, because sometimes I think we do for lack of, we don't want to insult someone. We don't want to, hurt someone's feelings and this, that, and the other. And then we find ourselves drifting into places that we really didn't intentionally mean to be.
Mm-hmm.
You go out on a date with somebody and you're weighing like, okay, we're human. So we all have the good and the bad, but sometimes the good and the bad may be doable. It's the ugly in the middle that may not be doable.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It may be the ugly in the middle that may not be doable, because my daughter even said, she says, yeah, the way he was acting, I just felt like this would be one of those things. She's like, how do you go out with someone and then you have to sit there going, oh, they're gonna be mad because I ordered the shrimp instead of the cheese sandwich, that sort of thing. And I mean, this is a conversation we were literally having. And I'm thinking to myself, at 19, why is she even having to deal with that right now?
Yeah, exactly.
But there are adults who are out here dealing with that. I listen to
God, like they say, you take somebody else. Sometimes this is like go to Capitol Grill or something like that. So it's like going to Capitol Grill. You take the Capitol Grill, you got to sleep with them. It's like, really, Capitol Grill. I mean, it's not even like that. I mean, it's not even expensive. Like Capitol Grill, really? Like I'll take you to any restaurant. I don't care how expensive it is. Right. Now I got to sleep with you. Like, really?
Because the point is, if you're going to take me to a restaurant, right? Any restaurant, if you didn't have the money to go to that restaurant, then that restaurant should not have been a place that you suggested.
Exactly.
Right. And if even if I suggested, then that would be the opportunity for you to say, I don't think we're at Capitol Grill level yet. How about that? That's fair.
Yeah.
How about we go, not a Red Lobster, but something else, right? But how about speak up and say what your crazy is? See, that's what it is. We don't talk about our crazy.
I think that, but how about us as women? I think that too, because sometimes it's like somebody asks you, like, you want to go out, and they be like, well, where do you want to go? Mm-hmm. And it's a restaurant you always wanted to go to, so you pick this restaurant. You haven't gone there because it's expensive. And I'm thinking that that's not good. Right. I mean, how about you? You want to go, if you go out, like, we always go out. We go out to restaurants. Why don't you go out take yourself to these restaurants?
Take yourself out.
Take yourself out to these restaurants and not depend on somebody else to
do it for you
out their pocket, especially when you're not interested in this person. You just going
absolutely.
So they could because they could pay the bill for the restaurant.
I think you should not go out with people you're not interested in. Let's start there.
Yeah, that too.
Because some people will say, oh, but maybe they'll grow on you. I don't want anything that's growing on you. Yeah. If it wasn't growing when I came into the world, things that grow on you are normally not good things, because the things that grow on you are fungus, cancer, tumors, lesions. I'm just saying, y'all get my point. That word of it'll grow on you, he or she will grow on you. No, that's
Oh, wait,
not
wait,
a
wait.
good point.
The other one they said you can learn to like them.
Yeah, no. That's like saying you buy a pair of shoes that's too tight, right? You're
Exactly,
like, I'm gonna stretch these out. And okay, if you wear a 9 and the shoes you bought are 7.5, baby, there ain't enough stretching in the world that you ever gonna wear those 7.5 pair of shoes on a 9. Okay, so grow on you, learn to like it, grow into it. No, stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
There's even like there is that it's something like you see somebody, they see you and you make eye contact.
Yes.
And yeah, because it goes to different stages. Make the eye contact, then if people are available, like like it wasn't just eye contact, you turn your head, you single, they're single, make your way across the room, have a conversation.
Right.
Okay, that's another step. So it needs enough conversation. They ask for the phone number. Then you like, okay, I want somebody I could talk to. Now somebody just wants to text me.
Right.
So you get past that. So, it's like stages. Everything is a stage. And then, you go out on a couple of dates. That's how it goes. But it has to be some type of physical attraction.
Yes.
And not meaning, oh, I'm ready to jump into bed with you. Not that. It's like it's something that like something. His eyes, his smile, his hair, the way he walks, whatever, his voice. Whatever it may be, it was something that attracted you to that person.
Right.
If there is no attraction and he's only standing on his wallet, that's a problem.
Listen, there are people who stand on their wallet.
Oh,
and again, and the people sometimes who hang out with the people who stand on their wallet, they know. The person who stand on their wallet, they know that you're there only because they standing on their wallet. So don't ever lose yourself or think that you have gained something, because please remember that same person that you accepted who's standing on their wallet because they had a wallet to stand on, they will at some point in time remind you that they saw your gain to begin with.
Oh, absolutely. Like we have to talk about the millions and millions of celebrities, especially men, okay? That like, oh my God, what these women that they're with now when they looked at them twice 10, 20 years ago.
Absolutely.
It's so like my mentor always says, it's really quite interesting. He said, how you see a mashup, like if that person wasn't attracted to you in 8th grade, you couldn't get that person when you were in 8th grade, then why are you trying to be with that person now that you guys are grown? You know what I mean? Because now you got some money. Now that person's looking at you.
Because now you need to prove a point to yourself.
Exactly.
And again, that's crazy love. That's not even love. That's either some sort of insecurity, some sort of vengeance, whatever you want to call it. But you have to identify what your crazy is. That's really what we were saying. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? Meaning, you will blame somebody else for, well, I thought you liked me. And the person kept saying, no, I didn't.
Yeah.
I kind of said it. I try to say it in every nice way I can. Can we be friends? Let's just hang out. When people give you those terminologies, that lets you know they're not interested in you the way that you're interested in them. So then you can't turn around and then start stalking people and showing up at people's jobs and cutting people's tires.
But you can't be using somebody as a convenience too when you're bored. Oh, I'm bored. So that's not good. That is
my mom says that people hook up Thanksgiving for right before Thanksgiving.
Oh, they have somebody for Christmas.
And go through the holidays, and then by the time Valentine's Day come, they come with you before that, and then spring comes, and then they start on the hunt again, so they can have somebody to be on their arm for summer, because summertime is. We got concerts, we got parties, we got cookouts.
Yeah, I always heard the opposite of that. They want to get rid of you for the holidays, so I have to buy Christmas gift. And they definitely don't want to have somebody for summer and the time, so they could be on the hunt for all the people that's out there.
But so my mother has said that too, because she'll say you hook up like when winter comes, right? So hook up in winter time. So you got somebody to cuddle and snuggle with and spoon with and all that stuff. And then before Christmas, we're going to break up. And then we're going to stay broken up between Christmas and Valentine's Day, right? Then you wait And then you come back, like I said, early spring, because now summer's about to happen. And who wants to be armed, don't have somebody on their arm for the summertime,
Let me tell you, I don't know, for me, it's something about having that authentic person with you. Because God knows, just to have a seat filler, it is the
It's
worst
the
thing.
worst thing in the world.
Want a seat
Worst thing in the world. Steph and I told Steph, so sometime back in my life, I remember that I did, in fact, encounter someone who I had grown up with. And we grew up together, and we were really, really, really good friends growing up together. And then they moved away, I moved away, hadn't seen each other in years, right? And then at some point in time, person came to Atlanta, literally came to find me. And then we just started talking, and we started having a long distance relationship. Fast forward, we were in a 3-year relationship. But I realized during the time of this relationship that I was in love with the teenager and not the adult that I had in front of me, right?
That you hadn't seen in I don't know how many years.
And I hadn't seen in years. And I think that's crazy love, right? Because you assume that because you knew a person from years ago,
when you were children,
and you remember how this person made you feel or how you thought you felt, because again, at that stage in your life, you got butterflies, you writing names on books and all of this stuff. And, then you hook up again and like, oh my God, like we just picking up. Now we're adults. So now we can
look at love story. Oh my God.
No, stop. Right. Because I realized that some of the things that I experienced with that person, I was just like, when the hell did you get here?
And why did I let you in? Oh Lord.
We were as different as day and night. So
yes, I remember that stage.
But you remember that stage.
I remember the whole thing. But do you remember, The Five Heartbeats is one of my favorite movies. And they had that scene in The Five Heartbeats where the lead singer, Robert Townsend's character, he's loving this girl. And I never, he went by her house. He was leaving notes for her. And one day he went by her house. The mother thought he was the guy to pick up the used clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, because the way he was dressed, whatever. And then, once they became successful, and then he sees a girl at an album release party, and they instantly become a couple. But that's the kind of situations I'm talking about. He had to stand on his wallet for that relationship. It's something that he said, even just in general for people, like whether it's the man or the woman that becomes very, very successful, whether everybody knows your name, everybody doesn't know your name, but you become very successful, for a person just to love you all naked and all without all of the artifice that comes along with that. And and when you take all that away from some people, you will wonder who would really still be standing with them.
Right.
It's something to be said for these people, like you see actors, athletes, whatever. And once they get a certain status, the person that just was right there with them, they no longer want. Because I get somebody better, now that I have all fame and fortune. And you do yourself a disservice, when you really do that. And when you kind of look at the people, like, my son is entering that film industry.
Mm-hmm.
I always tell him, I said, you get an idea of someone, you look at their career and how they have become very successful in their career. And one of the people I always tell them to look at is like Ron Howard.
Mm-hmm.
Ron Howard has had a successful career from child star to becoming, a director, but his family life, has kept him really grounded and who he is. His parents, was married forever. He's been married to his high school sweetheart forever. 5 children, a daughter that's a successful actress. But that's how you really are able to build. But this person that knows you when no one else knew you and loved you because of who you were, not, your status, not your fame, not your money. And it's
Right.
something to be said for that. It
Right.
really, really, truly is. I don't know if you had Denzel Washington said in an interview with Barbara Walters, and it's not actually something he said in reference, but he basically said that his uncle told him, there may be, more beautiful women than your wife, whatever. He said, but you'll never find anybody better
Right.
than your wife.
Right.
Is something to that reference. And
Right.
and that's true. There's always someone coming up the pipe. There's always someone new, more famous, more
Right.
money, more beautiful,
Right.
eyes and eye, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But that person that just loved you, you know what I mean? The first
Regardless.
together, you guys are gonna go. Hey, money always makes you look good. You know what I mean? So we didn't have none. Now we got some. We both gonna look better.
Right.
I
Right.
should anyway. But and it's really, really sad, because I think that you do yourself a disservice when people don't truly love you.
Oh,
You know,
absolutely.
when
Or you don't truly love someone and you're
well,
taking
both
up
ways, but
you're
you're not.
taking up time in
No,
their life, they're taking up time in your life, but at the first sign of trouble, it all the whole cookie falls apart. The whole house just collapses because if you don't truly love each other for who you are, even in vulnerability and sickness and in health, for real, right?
yes,
Sickness and
yes,
in health,
yes, yes.
wealth, money or no money, house or no house, then that speaks volumes to your real relationship because, hey, money comes and goes.
It
It does.
does. It really
Money
does.
comes and goes.
Mhm.
Beauty definitely comes and goes.
Right,
These
right.
bodies of ours come
That's
and
right.
go,
Yeah, they're
right?
just shells. They're
They're
just shells.
just shells. And so,
Exactly.
we're not gonna have high girls and that
Yeah.
bar service behinds and all this stuff all our years. And then these faces are going to eventually start to get some wrinkles in them, no matter what you do, unless you go
I don't care how much cosmetic surgery you get, how much
because
because
I'm
you
just
start to look crazy after a while.
I'm
You see
just gonna
all of these.
say, because there's one thing if you're gonna fix a face, but your neck, your face look 25, but your neck and your hands and your body look 65. Okay.
But
So
now they get Botox in their hands. Botox,
well,
putting on Botox your whole, like, what is, it's like some of these people that you see, in it's like, I look at, sometimes I look at things and I sit with my kids or my man, I be like, yeah, I see they messing with their face. They're
right,
a
right.
mess. And
I was listening to you when you said about, I was thinking the other day when, like you said, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So I think to start, the person who you're looking at, you should behold your beauty, right? And you should realize that your beauty is not simply this outer face, this outer body, this flesh that people see. Your beauty comes really from the inside out. And
sure.
so, if you're not beautiful on the inside, you're not going to be beautiful on the outside either, right?
Nope.
But that beauty that lives in you, that love that you have in your heart and your spirit and your soul, makes you a beautiful person. It makes you a beautiful soul, meaning that even when years later, when you are no longer here, people will always remember your spirit. They
That's right.
remember your soul. They remember you for how you made them feel, not for how
Exactly.
you looked,
Exactly. Yep.
right?
It's true. It's true.
Like it was
It's
Prince who
about,
said, if I went blind, I would still be able to see your beauty, right? I
exactly.
mean, you got to
Yeah.
remember that this thing of love, this thing of beauty has nothing to do with this,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, it's what we use, but it has nothing to do with that, because what you are feeling when you see, like Steph said, when you make that connection with a person, if you closed your eyes and you still had that same feeling, or you couldn't see that person, because think about it, when you're in love with a person, your memories, the memories that the times you've had with them, that's what makes you smile. And they're nowhere in the room.
Exactly. Yeah.
You
Oh, yeah.
can't
Yeah.
see them, but you see the image of them in your head and in your spirit, right? That's where the love is. But that crazy love is when you're like, oh my God, I can't be without them. Oh my God, I gotta be with, where are they? Oh my God, who are they talking to? Oh my God, what they, stop.
Yeah,
Stop
yeah,
it.
that look great, 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 great.
Crazy.
They got trackers
Stop.
on your phone and all the crazy stuff. Like, yeah,
Listen,
no. Okay.
and we were talking about this real brief. I want to remind you, ladies and men. My grandma always said, if you go looking for something, you'll find it.
Mm,
If you go with someone and you don't trust that person, that's what you don't trust that person. You going through their phone, their car, their
exactly.
drawers, their emails, what is that going to do for you? Because here's the thing. If you already have some inclination, if your little spirit is telling you something's not right, it's not right. You already know the answer. So you just going to add more trauma to yourself because now you need to see it in writing. You need to see the text message. You need to see the phone number. You need to call the chick. You need to call the dude in order for them to answer the phone and then tell you, yeah, that's my man. That's my girl. You really need that.
Yeah. I mean,
You really need that.
Yeah, you're doing yourself a disservice, but at the same time, in that realm, you're doing yourself a disservice. But if you are setting up a case for yourself, if you're in a marriage and you need proof for divorce and all this kind of things, then that's something different. But because sometimes it's sad to say it comes down to that, and you need to present all these things to your
Well,
attorney.
even that, you
But,
still need to hire a detective.
well, no, well, the detective's not going to have access to their phone.
I still say.
Well, I think that I'm just saying. I'm not saying.
I still say, because you know what? If I'm gonna say again, Steph, if I feel the need to have to go through your phone.
No. We already know. But if the lawyer says, I need some proof or whatever it is the situation is, whatever state you live in, then you have to do what you have to do to get the proof. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I'm just saying, other than but we're talking about a relationship. We're talking about that's my boyfriend, and we're
Yes.
good. No. We're not trying to go through your phone. We're not trying.
Right. If you are in relationship with someone, and I'm not going to say
if the phone rings and you answer the phone, if that's like, oh, it's my phone and all this kind of stuff, then that may be a red flag to you, because we're in the room and the phone like, oh, just get the phone for me, whatever. But things like you said, you will know, inside of you will tell you. I don't go messing with people's phones. I don't want people messing about phones.
Another thing we have, the one thing my daughter, the question that my daughter asked that young man about, you have a problem giving money to a young woman, but you don't have a problem sleeping with someone you just met. Marinating that. Marinating that, because that's the thing. We put ourselves sometimes in situations and then we want to turn around and be mad at the other person because they weren't clear or they weren't forthcoming. Well, you was all the way forthcoming, and maybe you went forth way too much with the coming.
Which is true. Exactly.
How about that? Right? So let's pull back and let's examine when you are looking for relationship. You have to go through seasons with people.
Oh, absolutely. Now you do got to go through that. You got to,
and when I say seasons, I'm talking about seasons of life.
Exactly.
You got to see them when everything is great. You got to see how they act when everything is falling all the way apart. You have to see them when they are sick. I'm talking from having a cold to being told you got cancer.
Well, sometimes you're not going to see all those things.
You have to see them interact with the people in their family, i.e., mama, daddy, children, siblings, co-workers. What do other people say about this person?
They're exes too. I mean, you're like dealing with somebody that you're our age, so that they had been married for somebody. You still share children together. How do they talk to that person? That says a lot. Is it with respect? You know what I mean?
Right.
Because there had to be something that was, you would hope, should I say, something that was really beautiful there when you guys got married 30 years ago, and that you produced these children. and God, for whatever reason, it didn't work, but God
Right.
forbid you be civil to each other. So how does that? Because how they talk about that woman or that man, God forbid,
Says
things would do
volumes.
it. It does, but if they will
Speaks
talk about it the same
volumes.
way. It does. See,
Speaks
a lot of
volumes.
people think like, oh, he just hates her. You got to think
Right.
that you're a woman too. How would you like, and I kind of like look at that situation, you know what I mean? Like, okay, so you're dealing with somebody who is divorced and like, like, oh, why does she, but you like, if you pay attention, you may see like, oh, maybe I know now why she divorced them. You don't never know. But I'm just saying, we're women, like they're
Right.
men, the same thing. A man, like, be like, oh, she's so great, whatever. I can't believe her husband divorced her. After a while, I start spending some time with her.
Right. You're like,
You
oh, now I see why.
realize
Because she cray. She's
whatever the
cray.
situation, I'm saying. So yeah, I mean, you just have to be. I pray for clarity every day, so I can see
Yes.
what's going on around me. So you're not like missing it. No, granted, nobody's gonna be perfect. You just gotta find
Because
a
we're
way.
not that.
No, we're not that, but you got to find a way to deal with somebody, to work with somebody. We weren't built to be alone, and it's nice if you could build a life with somebody, but not at
Right.
the expense of who you are. You have to be
Right.
true to thyself. You really,
Right.
really do. But you have to
Right.
find what's important. I mean, it's important that the guy opens a car door for you, or that when you're sick, that he will take care of you.
Right. Right. Or that they
That's
check in during the day. Hey, how you
yeah.
doing? How are
It's
you?
what exactly.
Right. That
It's
they
what's
make, or that they make space for you in their life.
exactly.
Always
Exactly.
remember that, men and women, if a person does not make space for you in their life, you are not in their life.
That's
You are
right.
an
That
option.
is so true. That's so
You
true.
are an option, or you're an
That's
alternate. Better yet,
yep.
you're an alternate.
Yeah, and that's it. I
You're
don't know
not
what
even an
nobody
option. You're an alternate.
that's even worse. And that's like, but you need to know where you stand. I think a lot of times people don't want. I see. I'm like in all my relationships, my relationship with you. I always need to know where I stand, but I always do know
Absolutely.
where I stand. That's something
Absolutely.
important. But people are in relation. Even I've seen girlfriends relationships, and the girl hangs out with this crew, but they really don't want her. You know what I mean? But can't you feel that you're not really part of the crew? You know what I mean? But you think you part of the crew. You know what I
Right.
mean? Are you trying to put yourself in the crew? I am under the belief and always have been, I don't go anywhere that I'm not wanted. I don't go places
Absolutely.
where I'm just tolerated. I don't deal with people if I feel tolerated, I am so out of there. I don't care if it's with my family, with my sister, whatever. If I feel like this may not be for all of us to be here at this moment, and it may not just
Right.
be for a moment, it may just be for a day, it may not be just the whole thing. I'm out. I'm just being
I
tolerated
agree.
today. Hey, deuces, we
We are,
done.
we
You know,
are tent packers.
yeah. I'll catch y'all
But
later. You know
I'm
what I'm
not
saying?
as much I will say I'm a graduate. I'm not as much a tent packer as I used to.
Oh no, I give you kudos. You have been doing really, really well. You have been
I'm
doing
not a tent packer
really,
like I used to
really well.
be.
You've been doing extremely well. You know what I mean? Extremely well. Because
Yes.
you know what? Because it's so easy to pack that tent and be like, I can sit up there and do exactly what I want, own the remote control, watch all the movies I want to watch, have to worry about nobody else. There's nobody else sitting with you.
Right. All
So
look, sitting there all by yourself.
wait for the
You
skeletons to come
took
and take
your
you all
ball
out of the
and
way.
went home, and there ain't nobody to bounce that ball with. I'm telling you.
Yeah. So you
Life
got
is meant to be lived with other people, and love can only be love if you're sharing it with somebody else. So,
yeah.
with that being said, we hope that, and we didn't say happy belated Valentine's Day. I hope you guys all had a wonderful
Yeah,
Valentine's
we had
Day.
a great Valentine's
And
Day.
so did I. And it was great. It was wonderful. And I hope the same for all of you. And despite my daughter's situation, she had a wonderful Valentine's Day. So,
Yeah.
but hey, we just remember, what's your crazy? Identify what your crazy is.
That you
And
live and you learn. And sometimes you
or
don't know what your crazy is
right.
yourself.
Or is your crazy, crazy?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
so have that self-evaluation. If you have doubts about the person that you're hanging out with, maybe let's start with a great conversation. Start just with, hey, I got a few questions. Because that's the other thing. A lot of us sometimes are afraid to ask the questions, or we're afraid to have the hard conversation. If you cannot communicate with the person that you are spending your time with, the person that you are intimate with, the person that you share meals with, you share space with, if you cannot have conversations, let's start there. Because relationship, even if I'm going to say something that may hurt you, that was not my intent. But if it's something that I need to have to say, I do need to say it. Or is a question I need to ask, you need to ask the question. Don't assume anything, and don't keep saying, oh, that's all right. I don't need to know that. Yes, you maybe do. Because if it's bubbling up here, if it's going on here and it's ticking up here, you need an answer. You need an answer. So guys, hope you have a great weekend. Our weather is being bipolar again.
Yeah, we had 70 degrees somewhere yesterday. So I named it, claimed and brought it here from the other week.
Well, it was 70 degrees here yesterday. No, it was 72, 73 yesterday. And then we woke up this morning, it was like 60 something, but the temperature is rapidly dropping. So tonight is going to go down to like 20 something or whatever. And tomorrow and Sunday, it'll be 26, 36 when we get up in the morning. So anyway, we're supposed to get an early spring. We'll see. Whatever.
Oh, really?
Our what do you call that thing? The groundhog didn't see its shadow. So saying that we're gonna get 6 weeks. We're gonna have spring will be 6 weeks early, supposedly. So nonetheless. So guys, if you did not celebrate Valentine's Day and you're celebrating this weekend, again, happy Valentine's Day. Have fun, have a great time. If you are a single lady, single man, don't forget, take yourself out.
I know that's right.
Take yourself to dinner. It's a great time to go to that restaurant you never been to that you want to go to. Take yourself. Buy yourself a drink. And get the best seat in the house that you could get, and sit there, cross your legs, and eat your food, have your moment, and don't be on your phone. Enjoy yourself.
I know that's right. Put that phone down. Give yourself
that phone down. Enjoy yourself.
Give yourself some mental peace.
What? And have a great meal. I'm serious. Do not deny yourself the joy of the love day, because every day is a love day, right? So if you didn't go out, take yourself out. I'm just saying.
That's right. And the reality is just a day.
It's just a day.
It's just a day. It's nice, but it's not everything. It's really the work. And if you're in a relationship, it's really to make what they say about Valentine's Day. You need to make every day that day,
Absolutely.
Not just that one day. And Absolutely. That's where we fail in that as a society, that we put so much emphasis on that day. But every day needs to be Valentine's Day when you're in a relationship. And it starts with respect.
Yes, totally agree. Well said. So guys, we want to say thank you. We hope you had a great time. We thank you for tuning in. Please like, please share. We thank you for those of you who have liked, shared, and subscribed to our YouTube channel. Please know that you can view us on YouTube. You can listen to us on Anchor and Spotify and Apple. Again, share. We love hearing your comments. We love talking with you guys. We look forward to sharing with you all every week. So we thank you. We really appreciate you all so much. Steph?
Have a great, great weekend, and just enjoy life. Really just relax, woosah, put your phone away if you can, and just chill. We don't put our feet up enough.
We don't.
And watch a good movie, just relax and enjoy life. Enjoy those moments, because all we have are moments, and you don't know when you're gonna get another one. It's like, or even moments with people, and I'll talk about my auntie on another show, but you have to take those moments to enjoy the
Yes.
people that you love, enjoy yourself that you love, and really, really enjoy it. Know how grateful we are to have, look what's happening up in Turkey, to have,
Yes.
all these shootings that's been going on. It's just so sad. And,
Yes.
you feel for those families, but to have a roof over your head, to have, heat, hot water, to have a bed to sleep in, that is a blessing.
Yes, it
People think
is.
that, oh no, it's a blessing to have running water, to have bathrooms in our homes, to have food in our refrigerator. It is really, really a blessing. And we have to thank God for all that we do have. We are blessed. If you
Yes, we
have a
are.
phone, new phones are $1,200. You have a cell phone, you are blessed. Okay. It's like,
Say it.
it is. You know what I mean? You could. It's something beautiful. Like you can get up in the morning and brush your teeth, use the restroom. It's like some people don't have that.
Right.
You take for granted everybody has that, and everybody
No.
doesn't.
Gratitude. Just
Yes,
an attitude of gratitude because
it's
do
true
not
for
take it for
every single
granted.
thing. Yeah, really, the ability to bathe yourself. Some people can't bathe themselves.
Right.
But it's like all the things. Everything is very important to thankful for everything. The air we breathe. Thank you, Jesus, that
Yep.
we have air to breathe.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
So just be happy and just be grateful and thankful for every single thing in your life.
Yes. I love that. That was well said. So, guys, we love you all. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you all next week. Have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend. Bye, Honey
Bye,
Bunny.
honey bunny.